The psychology of a child who felt invisible, the dark truth, the hidden pain of erased identity and lifelong hypervigilance. A child who felt invisible learned that survival meant disappearing. What protected them in childhood became the quiet force that fractures identity, intimacy, and self-worth in adulthood. Picture this. You're in a room full of people. They're talking, laughing, moving around you, and somehow, no one sees you. Not really. You learned early that your presence didn't change the atmosphere. Your emotions didn't shift the room. Your needs didn't interrupt the flow of things. So you adapted. You became quieter, smaller, easier to overlook. You learned to read faces before speaking, to scan moods before asking, to disappear emotionally before anyone had the chance to reject you. And here's the paradox. The very thing that kept you safe as a child is the same thing that now keeps you unseen as an adult. You weren't ignored because you were unimportant. You became invisible because attention felt dangerous. Because being noticed once meant conflict or disappointment or emotional chaos. So you did what intelligent, sensitive children do. You vanished. Not physically, but psychologically. And no one taught you how to come back. Let's name this accurately. This isn't shyness. This isn't introversion. This isn't being low maintenance. This is emotional neglect. Specifically, the kind that doesn't leave bruises or scars, but rewires the nervous system in silence. When a child grows up unseen, unheard, or emotionally unattended to, their brain learns one lesson above all others. My needs are dangerous or irrelevant. Over time, this creates hypervigilance, a state where the nervous system is constantly scanning for threat, not physical danger, relational danger, tone changes, micro-expressions, shifts in energy. You learned to monitor others instead of feeling yourself. This is often paired with avoidant or disorganized attachment. Closeness feels overwhelming. Distance feels safer. So relationships become a dance of wanting connection but fearing exposure. Neurologically, the default mode network, the part of the brain responsible for self-referential thinking, becomes distorted. Instead of asking, "What do I feel?" it asks, "What do they need from me to stay calm?" Your identity becomes externally oriented. You don't exist from yourself. You exist for others. There is a grief that comes with invisibility, but it's not loud. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It shows up as chronic emptiness, as the feeling that life is happening around you, not through you. Carl Jung once said, "The greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of the parent." But for the invisible child, the burden is different. It's the unlived life of the self. You traded authenticity for acceptance, expression for safety, presence for peace. And the cost? You don't know what you want, only what won't cause disruption. You don't trust desire, only duty. You don't feel real, only useful. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, but invisible children suffer in absence, the absence of being mirrored, the absence of being named, the absence of being held emotionally. Rilke warned that the deepest pain is the pain that has no language, and when no one taught you the language of your inner world, your grief became wordless. Invisible children don't disappear. They grow up, and they carry their survival strategies into adulthood. You might recognize yourself here. In relationships, you attract emotionally unavailable partners. You give more than you receive. You wait to be chosen instead of choosing. You fear being too much, yet resent being treated as not enough. In work, you overperform quietly. You avoid recognition. You feel anxious when praised, exposed when seen. In boundaries, you struggle to say no. You apologize for existing. You explain yourself excessively.
In emotional regulation, you intellectualize feelings instead of feeling them. You disassociate during conflict. You shut down when things get intense. In self-worth, you measure value by usefulness. You feel replaceable. You don't trust consistency, only endurance. In identity, you don't know who you are without adapting. Stillness feels unsafe. Rest feels undeserved. But here's the reframe. These aren't flaws. They are coping mechanisms. Brilliant ones. They kept you alive emotionally. But they are no longer needed. Unlearning begins with awareness, with noticing when you disappear, when you silence yourself, when you shrink. Not with shame, with compassion. Healing invisibility doesn't start with becoming louder. It starts with becoming present. Inner child work teaches you to witness the parts of you that were never seen, not to fix them, but to sit with them. Shadow work allows you to reclaim the parts you buried to be accepted. Your anger, your needs, your voice. Nervous system regulation helps your body learn that attention is no longer a threat, that visibility doesn't equal danger. Healing means choosing softness over survival, presence over performance, truth over tolerance. And here's the truth most people never hear. You don't need to become someone else to be seen. You need to stop abandoning yourself. As James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. So face yourself. Gently. Honestly. Bravely. The goal is not to be fixed. The goal is to become whole. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who never learned how to take up space. And if you're ready to continue this journey, subscribe for deeper explorations into the psychology we never talk about, but all feel. You were never invisible. You were just surviving. And now, you're allowed to live.